Why doesn't Bernie want AOC to run for Senate? He stormed out of an ABC interview when they asked him if she should run, said the question was nonsense. Is it because she's a woman? Or is it because she's not white? That's the question. She would be primarying Chuck Schumer. Obvious win for everybody to get him the fuck out. But no, Bernie Sanders won't even address it. Okay, yeah.
Formed the Progressive Caucus. We had 5 people in it at that time. Now they got close to 100. So you got a whole lot of good people. Alexandria is extraordinary. I am so impressed by her work in Congress and she inspires young people all over the country.
Would you like to see her join in the Senate?
Right now we have, as I said, just a whole lot of people in the Congress. Okay, Jonathan, thanks.
Wait, I got one more. This is important.
Well, I asked you.
Okay.
You want to do nonsense? Do nonsense.
No.
I don't want to talk about inside the Beltway stuff. I got 32,000 people.
I was just asking you about AOC because she was out there with you.
No, fine. But I don't want to talk about this. What was the last question?
I was just going to ask you one more question about you. I mean, that's all. I was literally your last.
What is your question?
Well, I mean, it's easier to. I mean, I want to ask you about your future. This is the biggest crowd. You said you ran for president twice. This is the biggest crowd you've ever seen. Are we going to see you run again? Or what's your future?
No, right now, I am very proud that the people of the state of Vermont sent me back to the Senate with 63% of the vote. Right now, I'm Vermont senator. That's what I do, and I'm very happy to do it. I am 83 years of age, so. And I'm tired.
He's a goddamn senator. Who should be lawmakers isn't fucking work gossip. I need you to take both those brain cells, rub them together, and see if you can get a little spark going before you comment next time. The moment Kente Cloth Pelosi is gone, it is going to be such a glorious day. If she could take all of her shit with her, right? The Target fucking like gay pride section variety of Democrat. You know what I mean? If she could just take all of that shit with her. Oh, man. Bernie's tantrum is what made it so obvious to me that he doesn't want AOC to run. Because he's a fucking senator. He is media trained and has been doing this shit for decades. He is capable of coming up with a diplomatic answer on the spot. Especially for a question he knew was coming. It's been in the news and he should have had an answer ready despite it being in the news. It's an obvious question to ask considering the circumstances. And he got up and tried to walk out? A question he should have been fucking prepared for. A question he should have known was fucking coming. And a question that any senator should be able to come up with an easy diplomatic answer for. And he tried to storm the fuck out. And that's probably because despite all of that, despite him knowing it's coming, despite him touring with AOC, he doesn't want to answer it anyway because his answer is probably no, I don't think she should. And he doesn't want to have that fucking conversation. It's interesting that you mentioned straw man, because that's what I'm correcting you on, is the straw man that you made. The person you're arguing with said, I reject this idea from leftists that any conversation that you find uncomfortable is a distraction, right? And you then accuse them of saying that any conversation is a distraction, right? You immediately like, oh yeah, well, prove I said that any conversation is a distraction. He said any conversation that you find uncomfortable. So you began with a ridiculous straw man, like the slimy fucking loser you are. The dishonest, slimy loser, right? And since as a slimy, dishonest loser, I know you're going to try to say, oh, that's not really what I said. Here's another comment of you lying about them, saying that they said any conversation instead of any conversation that you find uncomfortable. Yeah. Lying, slimy loser.
This might ruffle a couple feathers, but Bernie Sanders does not give a fuck about you. I still don't understand how we were able to keep that shit up, that populist belief that he actually cared about human rights going for so long. All he does is mentally masturbate over political theory and ideology that means nothing. Gets the people riled up like a pastor to do nothing. Just take their attention. Do you guys ever ask, like, how is Nancy Pelosi's trading portfolio so good? How are the Newsom and Pelosi families connected to California politics? And how is that allowed for opportunities that expand beyond any of the levels of, like, being oppressed or human could connect those two people to the people they're supposed to serve? But this isn't about them. This is about Bernie Sanders. The dude has like 7 titles. You know what's interesting? If he cared about the youth, I'm pretty sure he would be selecting younger people to assume those roles and then mentoring them, helping them be able to, at some point, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, assume even greater government positions and us be prepared to elect them rather than constantly just trying to point the finger at somebody who has all the identities and then make them run for president. As if that's gonna work. Now, again, the 2024 election was thrown by the Democrats because all those people, like the old Democrats, establishment ones, they want to just keep their positions. They want to keep insider trading. They want to keep being able to have the authority to know what's going on in the country. And then also the lack of accountability to not tell anybody else that this stuff is happening. They know it's happening and they're just preparing themselves before anybody else does. So it can seem like we're all just figuring shit out at the same time when the chaos really starts to ensue. But really sit here and think. The reason why Bernie and all these people, especially Nancy Pelosi and them, they aren't speaking to Democratic voter bases, they're speaking to conservative bases, is because they're conservative now. They've opted out to be on the right. They're not in the center. They're on the right. There is no such thing as a center in America. You're on the left, you're on the right, or you're a fucking liar and you're on the right. So let me know when we don't have a bunch of literally like 80-year-old, like walking gravestones supposedly representing people who they are 3-4 generations apart from in age. Just ask yourself how much things have changed since COVID. Now, how much do you think things have changed since World War II? When these people were born? Yeah, a lot, I'm pretty sure. So continue to believe the political back and forth, the political mental masturbation that is happening, because that's really all it is. You guys, all you do is play devil's advocate and say a bunch of theories and back and forth, and this could, MLK said, well, this philosopher, this theorist, yeah, to do nothing. Luigi Mangione did something. That's the only white person I've seen do anything, next to the dude who burned himself. And you guys don't do anything. Those types of experiences are supposed to be the catalyst to the revolution. You guys just sit there and do nothing. And even worse, you point at them and say, I wish we had a bunch more Luigis. I wish we had more people who could lead the revolution. Dude, you can only have so many leaders before the people show you time and time and time again they don't want a revolution. They just want to feel something, and they want to be a part of something that they can be remembered in the history books years from now, but you won't be remembered in any history books because they're rewriting history, and you won't be a victor in it. You're going to be the pest that was the reason why America couldn't get to where it wanted to go as quickly as it needed to. Because you're in the fucking way, saying shit that doesn't matter, trying to develop an identity that won't be validated outside of this social media psychosis that we live under, which has given way too many people an opportunity to see that freedom of speech is actually more detrimental when you don't have anything to apply it to, rather than just shutting the fuck up and seeing the world that we live in. But this is why I don't make political content on here, or I try not to at least. I'm confused as to, are we supposed to wait for people like Bernie or Nancy Pelosi to and keel out of their positions and then again be, well, what are we going to do to replace them? Is that what we're going to do every fucking time? Or are we going to actually coach and raise the next generation? Oh, we won't. Because you know that issue that them boomers and then that boomer generation they have is clinging on to their dear lives, to not even wealth, but to their identity. And losing that feels like they're actually dying. Needing to be a human being apart from politics, especially the ridiculous amount of attention that they get for no reason, it literally makes them feel worthless. Politicians, pastors, and who else? No. Just politicians and pastors are the two people who are supposed to be some of the most intellectually and morally superior people in society. But all they have done with the fame that they've garnered in the recent world that we've lived in is try to be rock stars. And now they've realized if they give up the position of politician or pastor, they can't be a rock star anymore. They actually got to be a real human being who contributes to their community or their society. But then they realize that they've gotten so rich off of the poor people they sell dreams to, they only live in a community with other super rich people who don't face the oppression that they think they know about and they think they're helping solve.